Welcome to the source. The source. Source. Hey, get the source.
Yo. Happy Tuesday to everybody. 15 base. We kind of a lot to go through today. Starting off with a 15 baseball game slate. We have Matthew Modi with us. And Modi's going to hang out and talk about the Texans with us after, too. It's just going to be me and Modi. Probably will be back tomorrow. So me and Modi then talk about the Houston Texans. Then Andy's coming on, and we're running through 5 college football teams. So definitely a loaded schedule here. Yesterday, for me, I went 1-1. You know what? I deserve that loss. Backing a city the likes of Philadelphia, went against every fiber of my being, trusting a city like that. I sank to the lowest of depths, and you have my word that I won't make that mistake again. I know that's not a city that can be trusted, and I went against my better judgment and bet them. So, you know what? I deserve the loss. I made a bad decision, and I deserve the loss. Anyway, let's get into it. It's funny because I know Toast is taking the Phillies tonight too. So he's going to be at the game.
Let's get into it.
All right. First up, Padres Pirates. And Toast, did you see this is system plays play of the season? Padres -1.5.
No, because I don't listen to system plays when you have 15 plays of the season. You can say it's a joke now, but when the first 7, you were dead serious, bruh. So there's no jokes. You don't get a laugh from me. I got over 8 on this one for me. I got over 8. I think that it's real for me. I don't really expect Dylan Cease to continue to pitch at the level that he's pitching. And I would love to come up here and sit and tell you as a Padres fan, he's going to continue to dominate. He's back. But what do we know? One thing about Dylan Cease is it's like a roller coaster. He can look really, really good for a while. He can look really, really bad for a while. That's how you get nicknames like Dylan Deceased. There's a reason for that. But at the same time, the Pirates have sneakily been kind of hitting right-handed starters as of late. I know their numbers overall don't look really good, but they put 4 off of Nelson, 3 off of Fott, 4 off of Hunter Brown. They got Fott again. They put 3 off of Zach Gallen. If they give me 2 or 3 runs in this game, I think that's going to be enough because the Padres have been hitting left-handed starters pretty well as well. Austin Gomber, Kershaw, Cole Irving, Patrick Corbin, Mitchell Parker. I know those names don't really mean anything, and I understand that Bailey Falter has pitched better as of late, but the Padres are still the number 1 road offense in Major League Baseball right now, or number 3, over the last 14 days, number 7 the full season. So decent weather in Pittsburgh as well. I expect tons of runs here today.
Yeah, I'm on the same. Well, I would go the same way. I didn't actually bet this, but I said last night I was leaning towards the over. I think this number's just too low by the simple fact that Dylan Cease is putting up practical joke numbers. And like Toast said, I mean, we know that this dude is not going to throw 7 shutout innings every single game for the rest of the season. It's bound to come crashing down. And also, like Toast said, Pirates, you look at their numbers against righties the last 30 days. You're like 24th in WRC plus, 22nd in OPS. That's shit. That's bad. But then you actually look at the starters they've seen recently, and they're getting to them. They got to Ryan Nelson. They got to Brandon Pfaadt a little bit. They got to Hunter Brown. They got to Brandon Pfaadt before that again. They got to Zach Gallen. So Pirates may have shitty numbers against right-handed pitching overall in the last 30 days. But if you look at the last handful of righty starters they've seen, they've actually scored runs. So I don't think it's crazy to say the Pirates are the one that snaps Dylan Cease's streak. Again, I didn't bet this, but this is the way I would go. Over a pass here for me. Mr. Modoc?
Yeah, starting off the day with the Dong, which is always good. So this is part of the round robin where I do 7. Is he playing the song? No,
we'll do it for one of the other ones.
Okay, all right. So I have a Jurickson Profar in this one. He's priced at plus 680, which is crazy. He's been so good. He just hit one on Sunday, but he had the day off yesterday, so it's not like we're expecting him to do it 2 days in a row. And it's just a matchup play. Like, he's a little bit better power-wise when he's facing a lefty, which he's facing in Bailey Falter. ISO rates to 21.8% against lefties, 17.9 against righties. His best pitch in terms of power is the fastball, which Falter throws over 50% of the time. His ISO rate's 24% against fastballs. So that's like literally his best ISO rate on any pitch that he's seen more than 100 times. And then Falter, his 3rd most common pitch is a slider, which is Profar's 2nd best pitch. So 2 out of the 3 pitches that like makes 80% of the pitch mix for Bailey Falter that Profar hits really well. And like plus 680 for him is crazy. He's been really good. So yeah, that's like it's my longest shot of the day in terms of odds, but it's one of my more favorite plays because of the odds.
And Modai's not the type of dude that gloats, but I feel I should mention that Modai went 4 out of 5 with his home run prop yesterday and put him in a round toast. He was telling me 18 units he got in one freaking night.
Crazy.
That probably won't happen again, but he's not the type of dude to gloat. I'll gloat for him.
I had to tell everybody, like, don't up your unit size just because this day was amazing, expecting it to happen. Like,
don't worry, you're gonna get hate. There's no question. You're gonna miss. You can go 4 out of 5 again, and somebody's gonna miss that one, and they're gonna be mad at you.
Yep,
100%.
Sure. I just wanted to add really quickly. Profar will be leading off tonight, so you might get an extra at bat from him too, which is another good thing if you're betting home runs.
Cool. Next game, please. Do you have a double dong?
Yeah, I do.
He does. That's when we'll play the song. Probably people want to know. All right. Arizona, Cleveland, and I do have a bet on this game. It's the same exact bet that cashed for me yesterday. Cleveland team total over 3.5. I did pay for it. Sorry,
Beaver, go ahead.
Yeah, me and Toast were both on this actually, and we were both on it separately. Like when I posted it, Toast was like, "I already bet this." So we're, I think we were both on it yesterday as well. This cashed with flying colors. I think that's 3 in a row now. I think we can say Cleveland's back against righty starters, and that's not crazy to say. Remember, this was probably the best and most consistent lineup against righty starters for most of the season. Then they went through like this really crazy cold month where they couldn't touch righties. It looks like they might be back. The only reason I put a full unit on this, I like this bet. The only reason I'm a little hesitant about hammering it down right now on the show, I don't really understand why the line hasn't moved. I mean, Cleveland hit up Gallen. They hit up Corbin Burns. They're at home. And now, like, they don't think they're going to get to Eduardo Rodriguez. Like, they got to Corbin Burns and Gallen back-to-back, and they're not going to get to Eduardo Rodriguez. Not to mention, you guys go ahead and look at Arizona's bullpen right now. Not only is it shit, who the hell is even available? I mean, I don't know who's pitching the second half of this game for Arizona. How deep can Eduardo Rodriguez go into the game? On paper, Cleveland should score 7 runs in this game. So why are we getting a 3.5 on the team total? Why is the total for this game down at 8? I really don't know. The total makes no sense. It's a sketchy line. So maybe I'm the squarest dude in the world. This feels too easy.
The wind is the total. That's why.
The wind?
Yes, that's why.
It's bad.
So it's like 15-mile-an-hour winds blowing in from right field. So I'm on the same bet. I don't really care personally. Again, you said everything you needed to say. Eduardo Rodriguez didn't even look. He hasn't had a warm-up start in the minor leagues or anything like that. So you can't expect more than 65 pitches from him, like at a very max. So let's just say that he goes 65 pitches, 3 or 4 innings, flawless baseball. Cool. Who are you going to bring in? Humberto Castellanos, Slade Ciccone, Mantiply, Florio, Sewald? Because everybody else, keep in mind, Arizona's in the middle of a pennant race as well. So they can't just be willy-nilly with their bullpen. They have to use them when they need to win games, a la last night when you're in a game when you go to extra innings and whatnot. But I have a hard time believing you're going to see Martinez, Thompson, Puck, or Ginkel today. Maybe you see Ginkel, but the top 3 arms, you're not going to see. So again, the weather isn't the best, but I don't really care. Cleveland's not a team that I expect to hit a whole bunch of home runs either. Obviously, they have some guys, but they can also get on base. They can steal bases. One ball down the line, they can score 2. So I'm not really worried about it. And not to mention the fact, it seems like the last 3 weeks, every time that we're worried about a sketchy price or a line, and then we don't bet it, it cashes with these. So I'm just not going to let that happen again.
Yeah, that's true. Prop Beaver, I'm actually emailing you the image of the Arizona bullpen. Could you just throw it on the screen so they can see? Because it's not just like we're exaggerating. This is actually crazy. So can you throw it on the screen while Modai's delivering his compelling speech?
It's going to be very compelling. This is the double dong game. So when you first asked me,
and it makes you feel down, and it makes you feel down, and it makes you feel down.
All right, hit us, Modai.
Yeah. All right. So 2 in this game, one for each team. I have Jose Ramirez and I have Jock Peterson. I did see the winds are blowing in, but looking at Ballpark Pal, it still has it as like a positive run game. They have it at plus 9%, and they have it positive to right field. So maybe that's just going off of Ballpark Pal. But so for Jock Peterson, it's him hitting Ben Lively's pitch mix really well. Fastball, sinkers, fastball, sliders in that order. Peterson crushes all three of those pitches. ISO rate like 25% above against all three. And he's been on fire recently. Like he's got 5 home runs in his last 9 games. He hit a home run last night as a pinch hitter. So like, can he go 3 straight? Like I just look at the matchup as opposed to not thinking, like betting against the fact he's going to do it in 3 straight. I just isolate the matchup. And then Ramirez going up against Eduardo Rodriguez. I mean, good pitcher, but making a season debut, we have no idea what he's going to look like. Ramirez has a decent history against him that includes a home run a couple years ago. And a couple hits. And then like, if it's the bullpen, I'm not scared off of the Diamondbacks bullpen either. So Ramirez is like plus 520, which I thought was really good. I also was debating Ketel Marte, but he's better against lefties. So I left him off and just went with Jock Peterson. I also took Jock as one of my Dinger Tuesday straight up picks as well. So I have him in the round robin, and then I have like a quarter unit on him straight up for Jock Peterson.
And all right, cool. So 2 home run props there. And there's the Arizona bullpen on the screen now. It's crazy. And keep in mind, this is a bullpen that has been struggling to begin with. So it's a bad bullpen that has no arms available. So yeah, Cleveland team total.
I mean, yeah, they gave it up twice because I was on Cleveland money line last night, and I know the only reason I lost is because they couldn't score late. But yeah, I know that Arizona bullpen gave it up.
Yeah. Next game is Reds, Marlins. I don't even know what to really make of this game. I have no bet on it. Really don't even have much to say. I mean, the Marlins have actually shown signs of life, getting into a few lefties over the last month. So, and Lodolo, I don't know. I mean, obviously, I would lean the Reds win the game, but I don't have a bet on it or anything.
So it's funny because I was like, man, I looked at this game last night and I was like, man, that's a weird price and yada yada yada. So then I was like, the line moved a lot. So I asked Lindy, I was like, yo, Lindy, what's up with the line move? You got anything for me? And he said, quote, I don't know. I have to dig into it enough to make you guys making their guys' first starts, but no minor league starts moving on. It's like really, really bad. And then he went on to say that he's like on drugs because he can't figure out what it's like. So I don't know. I mean, look, here's the issue is that not only has Miami been decent against left-handed pitching, I mean, way better than what they were at the beginning of the year where you could essentially fade them. I think at one point they were like 3-25 against left-handed pitching or something like that. They're only 8-30 now. But Nick Lodolo hasn't looked like – when does he look good in his last 7 starts? He looked a decent on the road in Pittsburgh. He got lit up by Boston. He got lit up by Colorado. Went 4 2/3 against this Miami team at home. Didn't really look that great. Got lit up by Washington. Had a decent road start in Tampa Bay. And then got just throttled by the Cubs. Again, there's no way I can trust Nick Lodolo at this price. So it'd be Miami or Miami team total or pass for me. I mean, this line's moved, 30 cents since it's open. So, I mean, clearly the books have a reason for that. But again, I'm not betting it, but the only way I could go is Miami.
Yeah, I mean, there's no they have to be aware of the fact that they're playing against a ton of Cincinnati Reds action. I mean, we're polling at over 72% Cincinnati. So, yeah, it's a straight pass for me. Modi?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't play anything myself. I would lean towards the under. It's not my most confident play by any means. I like the Mayer guy for the Marlins. He's fine. And Lodolo's really hit or miss, but I feel like when he's on, he's got good stuff. So just kind of fading the fact that he's been bad recently, expecting him to pick it up a little bit. But yeah, I mean, it's not, and like the Marlins is a pitcher's park, but yeah, it's not making my official.
How's the weather down there? Because I mean, I know the East Coast, right? We're hearing
they play in a dome. Yeah.
Oh, duh. I was just kidding. That was a test. No, the thunder that we're hearing in the background, like it's pretty serious here in New Jersey. So I think the East Coast is taking some shit right now. Next game. Oh, you already did it. Giants, Nats. All right. What do we got here? Toast. I mean, okay. Yeah. I get it. How do you trust Mackenzie Gore in any way, shape, or form right now? He looks terrible. So, I mean, Giants at -120. The problem is, and you said something about like 2 or 3 weeks ago that has stuck with me. Like, this Giants team is not good on the road. It's not just like, oh, they struggle on the road. Like, no, they're a bad baseball team on the road. So, even though at first glance, it's like, oh, -120 against Gore. I kind of want to take Washington here, especially in the Giants, a little more of a tax bullpen. I can't do it. There's no shot. I'm going to need at least +125 to consider it. But I kind of want to take Washington, to be honest. So you can put Nats up for me. It'll be Nats or pass, but it's definitely a pass.
For the record, I wouldn't touch San Francisco full game either. San Francisco bullpen is not in good shape. Duvall went yesterday. He would be available, but Walker, both Rogers brothers, and Jordan Hicks is fine. But yeah, their top 4 arms in their bullpen have either worked yesterday or worked 2 of the last 3 days. So, but I am betting Giants first 5 run line with the GOAT, Hayden Birdsong, on the mound. Haven't lost a bet with this kid in the first 5 since he started the game. I'm going to continue to bet him when I can. Not to mention, I will 100% agree with you. The Giants on the road is not a team that I want to back. There's a little bit of a but to that because the Giants are starting to play really good baseball right now. I don't know if Soler and stuff was like a cancer or what it was, but they're 12-8 their last 20. They're 8-2 their last 10. They're playing very good, like I said, playing very good baseball out of the All-Star break versus left-handed pitching the last 14 days. Giants 5th in OPS, 5th in WRC+, 5th in WOBA, and you can go I essentially take that out the whole full season in 30 days. They've been decent against left-handed pitching, and on the road the last 14 days they're a top 10 offense in Major League Baseball, so give or take. So I will take my chances against them. Mackenzie Gore hasn't been great. Birdsong, this is going to be his first start since calling up. So yeah, for me, it's Giants first 5 run line.
Giants first 5 run line. For some reason, the chat stopped showing up, so I was telling Proppy to refresh the link. That's what I was saying. Moda, do you have anything in this one?
I do. I have Birdsong under 4.5 strikeouts. It's plus 125, and I'd only play it for a half unit. You could take 5.5 and get like it's horrible juice, like in minus 150s, minus 170s, depending on your book. This is just completely a play on the line. Like his last 2 starts, he was phenomenal. 8 strikeouts, 12 strikeouts. Both of those were against the Rockies. Prior to that, I mean, he's only made 5 starts, so it's not like it's not like it's been amazing. But he's never gone over 5 in any start prior to facing the Rockies. Granted, like if he hits 5, then this bet would lose. That's kind of why you're getting the plus 125. But maybe he just has the Rockies number. And the Nats, aside from James Wood, who is a strikeout machine, like they don't strike out a lot. Nobody on their team outside of him in their lineup strikes out 23% or higher against righties. They have the 9th lowest strikeout rate on the year against right-handed pitching, the 7th lowest in the last 15 games. And like I said, it's just a play on the number. Like his last 2 starts, this is going to look like the dumbest play in the world, but like the books are pricing him at 4.5 or 5.5 after that. And I think it's because you expect a little bit of regression from a young pitcher after just annihilating the Rockies. Again, I would only play the under 4.5 for a half unit. It's not my favorite play, but I do think that it's worth a sprinkle at the price.
All right, so Birdsong under K's, fading toast favorite player in Major League Baseball.
I can just say that all I can say is that Hayden Birdsong's went over that number in 5 of his 6 starts in the league. That's all I can say. He's the GOAT.
3 of them he had exactly 5. The other 2 he smoked the over.
Next up. Oh yeah, Angels Yanks got postponed, and I could hear why behind me. It's the Thunder.
Is it that bad?
Yeah, it's loud. I'm surprised you guys didn't hear it on the mic. It's me and probably were like, it's fucking loud. All right, next game. So Baltimore, Toronto. One of my only bets that I got some CLV on. I got the over 8.5 at plus 100 last night. So I mean, it's like what 15-20 cents a CLV. It's not really a big deal, but it's nice to see because if you rewind back 3 weeks ago, when I was really having a lot of success, I was almost up 20 units on the season. I was getting CLV on a majority of my bets, which is obviously a good sign. That's what you want to see. And then it stopped, and then I stopped seeing the board properly. So it's nice to see I got some positive CLV on this one. It's pretty self-explanatory of why I like the over here. I mean, Grace Rodriguez hasn't looked as good. What does he struggle against? Righty bats. Toronto's loaded up with righties. On the other side, you have Chris Bassett, who's also been struggling recently. He's been struggling at home. What does he struggle with? Lefty bats. Baltimore's loaded with lefty bats. I mean, it's a terrible matchup for both starting pitchers. Both these lineups have been hitting. I mean, Baltimore maybe not quite as electric of a lineup as they were a couple months ago, but they've been scoring some runs. Toronto's been hitting more so than usual. Both these bullpens are terrible. I mean, just everything points towards an over here. The reason, and it's not that the line is sketchy either, because it's Grayson Rodriguez versus Chris Bassett. It's not like there's 2 scrubs on the mound. They're not going to make the line 10 with those 2 guys, with 2 solid starting pitchers on the mound. So it's 2 starting pitchers that have names that are regarded as good starting pitchers. Neither are throwing their best baseball right now. Both are in bad matchups. It's over for me, definitely.
Moda, do you got anything?
Yeah, I got a dong in this one. Super square Anthony Santander to hit a home run. I mean, plus 430 for him is a pretty good price considering how hot he's been, and he has really good stats against Chris Bassett. And he's been on fire. Like he's second in the MLB in home run, or maybe third in home runs since the All-Star break returned. He's been phenomenal. I think only Tyler Fitzgerald has more, maybe Ketel Marte. And Bassett, like, he throws a ton of pitches, but the one that he throws the most is the sinker. Like over 40% of the time he throws a sinker. No other pitch does he throw even 20% of the time. So it's like the sinker and then a hodgepodge of 6 pitches. And Santander crushes sinkers. ISO rate 33.3%. Best ISO rate of any pitch he's seen at least 100 times. And then the pitch that Bassett throws the second most is the cutter, which them together makes up like over 60% of his arsenal. And Santander also crushes cutters as well. And he has 8 plate appearances against him, doesn't have a home run, but is batting .429. He was walked once and has 3 hits. 2 of them were doubles, so he hasn't hit a home run, but he has hit him hard, and he's been on fire. He crushes the sinker, which is Bassett's favorite pitch. So yeah, I thought it was, especially a plus 430, is pretty good value for him.
Toast?
I ended up passing on this game. I lean Baltimore pretty heavily. I really like Santander. I like him. I really like Eloy Jimenez as well. Jimenez, extremely hot since he came over to Baltimore. Not to mention he's 5 for 11 off of Bassett lifetime. He's seeing him very, very well. So I'm probably going to end up doing like some sort of a hit parlay with some type of Orioles that I'll post in the Discord because their numbers against Bassett are just insane if you use our spreadsheets. The amount of green that is on the Baltimore side is absolutely insane. The reason that I'm not playing Baltimore is 1, I don't trust the bullpen. 2, I don't love the fact that Toronto has actually been showing some life with the bats. I understand it's kind of been hit or miss at times, but they are showing some signs of life. So I just don't really like the matchup in total, but yeah, it's a pass for me.
All right. Next up. Kyle, are we going to cover Georgia Southern today? No, not today. We have too much to go through today. We will get to that team. Yo, you're the man, Jay Smooth. That shows that people are paying attention because we skipped that team. Yo, you're the man. I promise we'll get to Georgia Southern, but not today. We won't have time today. All right. Brewers Braves. This is the ultimate I have no freaking idea game for me. And I looked at it too. Hold on, let me.
Is Prop Beaver producing?
Yeah.
Ask him if I'm crazy for back Bryce Elder. Again.
That's what I was thinking too. I was like, guys, that's what I was thinking too. Is that Bryce Elder's going to pitch well?
Chop all day, baby. Chop.
Prop Beaver, do you think it's crazy to back Bryce Elder? Toast wants to know. He says IDAGF. That means I don't give an F.
Oh.
Did he say the letters or did he actually say the full sentence?
he said the full sentences. I censored it for YouTube.
I thought he spoke.
He's a vulgar guy. He's a vulgar guy. All right. So I think Bryce Elder's going to pitch well, but I'm not betting on that. So no, pass for me.
Yeah, pass for me too.
I did bet it. I did bet the Braves here today. Chop all day long for me. Look, I don't know what it is. It's a hell of a heel turn. I'll give you that. But I'm just really loving me some Braves baseball. I didn't play them anything against I played them the first game against Miami, so I don't really have to worry about the 2 losses. But now we're getting them with a day off, staying at home in a really important series against a guy in Colin Ray, who they've had some success with. Nothing like crazy. The last time he was in Miami, he gave up 5 runs. And I don't mean that as like, oh, they're going to get to him, because he has other decent starts against the Braves. But, and there's a big but to this, I hate Bryce Elder. He is terrible. But you know what Bryce Elder can do? Pitch against the Milwaukee Brewers. In 3 starts in his career against the Brewers, he's went 19 total innings. He's only given up 4 runs. For whatever reason, Mr. Elder just gets up for these Brewers. Not to mention the fact that this Brewers team is just a shell of itself. Like, I'm sorry. Now that Yelich is out of the lineup, I mean, they haven't looked good in a while. I've been trying to figure out that maybe they'll figure it out with their lineup or whatever, but they're just not, and they don't look good. They're 9-11 their last 20. They're 4-6 their last 10. This is just really not a good baseball team right now. So I will give you that the Brewers probably have a little bit of a starting pitching advantage, and now that Devin Williams is back, that bullpen is decent. But might I remind you that this Braves bullpen has been pretty damn nails themselves as well over the course of the season. So, yeah, again, I think this is a short price. But again, I think I really, really like the Braves here today, rested in with the day off and staying at home. So, yeah, I'm on the Braves, and I also bet them -1.5.
Really, really likes the Braves.
They better show up.
Next game.
We have a really good relationship right now. Everything's going good.
He said chop chop. He said
That's
that. And he didn't say it like smiling to be dead ass. He said chop chop.
He said it seriously.
Dead ass.
Did I lose Kyle? Was that just me?
No, I think he froze.
Andy? Oh, yep, I can see Andy moving.
I can see, yeah.
Gotta be Kyle then. Oh, I was like, whoa. All right.
Whoops.
Yeah, my bad. I clicked the X by accident on the window. Nothing crashed or anything. I literally accidentally clicked the X. So yeah, next game is Tampa, St. Louis. This is another pass for me. I do have 5 bets open. I wanted to bet the Cardinals, but last night minus 145 was too expensive for me. So minus 155 is definitely too expensive for me. I do think the Cardinals win this game. Don't have a ton of faith in the Rays lineup right now, especially against a righty. Sonny Gray's been pretty good. It's not like a full-on bet of Sonny Gray, but at home against the Rays lineup, I don't trust to get the right-handed pitching. Not to mention Jeffrey Springs. This is only his second start, and his first one he looked bad against the Marlins. So I don't know in what world you put any faith in him. It would have to be Cardinals money line or pass for me. Probably you could put that up. But I wasn't going to bet it last night at minus 145. So I'm certainly not touching it at minus 155.
I'm on the Rays money line for me. I bet the Rays on the money line at plus 130 for me. Yes, Jeffrey Springs was shaky his last time out, or his first start out against Miami. I just don't put a ton into that. I don't think that he's going to go out there and throw 6 or 7 innings of no-hit baseball or no-run baseball, excuse me. That's not what I think, but I do think that he can give me 3, 4, maybe 5 innings of 2-run baseball. And if that's the case, then I think that we're really going to have a good chance here in this game. Keep in mind that this St. Louis offense over the past week has been really kind of hit or miss. And honestly, to me personally, if you're not putting runs up against the Cubs, I really don't trust you, especially in Wrigley with those friendly confines and decent weather over the last couple of weeks. They just got blanked by New York as well. I understand that they had to stay home, but I really don't like this spot for St. Louis either, going from Chicago home, playing now the 3rd team in 3 days. I've told you guys many times I don't like Sonny Gray at all. His last 3 home starts, he's been terrible. 5 innings, 5 runs against Washington. I guess he went 7 innings against the Cubs, but he gave up 9 hits and 3 runs. And then another home start against Cincinnati, went 4 1/3, 7 hits and 6 runs. The back end of this game, again, I really think that the lineups are awash with how they're playing right now, but I really think the Rays in the back end of this game have a huge advantage. Over the last 30 days, the Rays are like top 8 bullpen. Over the last 2 weeks, the Rays are the number 1 bullpen in Major League Baseball right now. I know that it doesn't really seem like that, but I'm telling you guys right now, this is just what Tampa Bay does. They have Manuel Rodriguez and Edwin Satenta. I can't know his last name, but these guys, again, just the Rays, finding guys out of nowhere, coming in and just throwing nails down everywhere that they go. So I just think that at plus 130, and I have a huge advantage in the late end of this game, and I'm really not worried about the Cardinals bats. Maybe if I get a Chris Morel home run to push me over the edge, but regardless, I just think that plus 130 with the Rays is way too big of a price to pass up.
Yeah, I mean, I can't say I argue with you if you're getting plus 130. I think the Cardinals win the game, but I'm not necessarily like at this price.
I got it.
Yeah. Modi?
Yeah, I got another dong in this one. Brandon Lowe, who plus 560 is another really good price on him to hit a home run. I think I've been brainwashed by Toast and fading Sonny Gray, but it's like it's what I've been looking at. It's the pitch mix. Like Sonny Gray is not as good against lefties. I'm guessing it's because he throws a lot of sliders. It's his most frequent pitch. And like his stats across the board are worse against lefties. And that's what Lowe hits really well. ISO rate 245 against sliders. After that, Gray throws 4-seam fastballs and sinkers as his next 2 most frequent pitches. That makes up like 90% of his pitch mix, something like that. And Lowe has an ISO rate of over 27% against both four-seamers, and sinkers. So it's what I've been looking into a lot recently is like the pitch mix of the batter versus what the pitcher throws. Lines up really well for Brandon Lowe, who's been really good. And I think we're getting a good price at plus 560 because it's against Sonny Gray, who's like thought of as an ace. But I think that it's an advantage for Lowe. And I love the price at plus 560.
I had him and Siri written down as possibles.
Okay, let's move on to the next game. Houston, Texas. I almost pulled the trigger on the Rangers last night at plus 115, but I was iffy then. Now
I played their team total over 3.5. How lucky do you think I feel?
Yeah, holy shit, right? Because that's definitely you probably can't even get a 3.5 now.
No, I meant last night.
No,
I played it again today too. Yes, sorry, yeah.
But I'm saying now this total's at 8.5. It's getting close to a pick 'em. You're not going to be able to get a Rangers team total at 3.5 anymore. If you are, you're going to pay for it.
I paid minus 135.
Is that what it's at now?
Or 130, something like that. But yeah,
I would imagine it's even more expensive than that now. But yeah, I was considering the Rangers at plus 115 last night. But honestly, the Rangers bullpen, their main three guys, or I think it's their main four guys, have all thrown 2 of the last 3 nights. And 2 of the last 3 nights is usually not like. Usually some pitchers can throw 3 out of 4 nights, but it's not just that the fact that they've thrown 2 of the last 3 nights, it's their pitch counts. Kirby Yates, 25 pitches and 32 pitches. David Robertson, 27 pitches and 35 pitches. Andrew Chafin, 3 of the last 4 nights. Jose Leclerc has thrown 48 pitches in the last 3 days. So their bullpen arms, super high pitch counts. So I couldn't actually pull the trigger on the Rangers. And now that the Astros are getting down to minus 115, I actually think the value would probably be on Houston. So this is a straight pass for me. I almost bet the Rangers last night. No bet at all at this price.
I'm just going back to what paid me out last night. Like I said, I played Rangers team total over 3.5. I'm sorry if I didn't post it on the website. It was only in Discord. I was traveling, but I just think that this Rangers offense is starting to click a little bit now with Josh Young back in the mix. And Framber Valdez against Texas in his career in Texas or Arlington or whatever you want to call it, he has been absolutely throttled. His last 3 starts, 15 innings, over let's see, how many runs is that? I gotta do math now. 11 plus 15, so 16 runs, over 20 hits. I mean, it has been absolutely terrible for them. So even if Framber Valdez pitches well, the Astros bullpen isn't in great shape either. Hader went 26 last night. Presley was in there and he blew a save. They saw Abreu last night. Caleb Ferguson has went 2 of the last 3 nights as well. So again, I just feel like this Rangers offense at home is just a little bit undervalued here. So to get that team total under 4, under minus 140, I couldn't pass it up. The reason that I didn't go with the Texas money line, like Sauce pointed out, is that bullpen. I just wanted to say that when you're looking at that, if you're trying to get an idea, if you can see 2 of the last 3 days and the pitch count is below 30, you're probably going to be okay. But once you start getting over that 30 number, that's when you really start to worry about 2 out of the last 3 days. So Sauce talked about that. I really can't add much more, but I just wanted to give you guys that 30 number just so you guys had it in your head.
All right.
I lean towards the Astros money line, but I didn't bet it. It's not my favorite play of the day. It's more so just like I know the Rangers have been crushing left-handed pitching recently, so it's kind of just fading that because I still don't quite trust them because they haven't been great all year except for recently. But yeah, I mean, I didn't bet it.
Yeah, and at this price, I'd be with Modi. That's where I would go. Also, is Houston at this price. So, all right, let's go ahead and get to the.
Yeah, I forgot to mention that Texas versus lefties, 4th in WRC plus OPS and WOBA the last 14 days and 30 days.
Next up, Twins Cubs. Total for this game is 3.5. No, it's at 6.5 now. I think there were 5.5s open last night. It's because there are tornado winds swirling in Wrigley Field apparently. Also, you got Pablo Lopez, who is scorching hot against Shota Imanaga, who, I mean, if he's on, he's about as untouchable as it gets. So it's a combination of the starting pitchers and the weather in Wrigley. No chance in hell I place $1 on this game. I promise I have 3 more bets coming. There's just a stretch here of games that I didn't touch. I mean, with a total of 6, I don't really know. I mean, I guess if I was to place a bet on this game, I would throw like exact score 0-0 after 5 or something, but no, I'm not touching it.
I have no interest in this game either. I think that I would lean the Twins just because they I mean, I do think that they have a starting pitching advantage. I mean, I'm not a Pablo Lopez guy, as most of you guys do know, but at the same time, Shota Imanaga, I mean, over his last 7 starts has been pretty mediocre as well. He had back-to-back decent starts against Baltimore and Arizona, but against St. Louis, the Royals, the Phillies, and the Giants, he was average at best. So Pablo Lopez on the road is usually the times that you want to back him. It's in Minnesota that he has struggled, not to mention the Twins versus left-handed pitching has been a top 10, like I said, in Major League Baseball. The issue is the Twins bullpen. Duran, Jax, Alcara, Sands went 33, but the top 3 arms in the Twins bullpen, all back-to-back days or 3 of the last 4. Just not really good shape. So, yeah, I'm not betting this game.
Someone's saying that you could bet no home runs to be hit in the game at plus 350. Dongless?
Could be. I mean, the wind is crazy blowing in at Wrigley. But yeah, I mean, in this one I have Pablo Lopez over 6.5 strikeouts plus 100 odds is what I got it. I guess I should see if that's still available.
I'll look it up. Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, he's been really good recently. Like, he had a stretch. There was a stretch in the middle of the season where he went 7 straight games without going over 6.5 strikeouts, and he's done it in 5 of 7 since. 2 games he just blew out of the water where he smoked the over, and in the 2 games he went under, he had 6 and 5 strikeouts. So like the floor is still there. And in his last 7 starts, which is since June 23rd, he's got the 6th best K per 9 in the MLB, 5th best strikeout rate, 10th best swinging strike rate. On a strikeout rate over that stretch is 32.4%, which is an elite number. Would be the 3rd best on the entire year this year, and would have been good for 2nd best last year. And looking at the Cubs, their top 3 of their top 4 hitters strike out a decent amount, like Ian Happ, Michael Busch, Seiya Suzuki. I know I'm butchering his name, which I apologize.
That's pretty damn good.
Okay, good. All right, that makes me feel better. All strike out 27.5% or worse. That's 3 of the top 4 batters. So like, he should theoretically see them the most. He's gone over 6.5 in 3 straight starts. I like for him to do it again today, and you're not paying any juice on it, at least when I got it. So that's where I went.
All right. Yeah, let's move on to the next game. And Proppy, if you want to try some ninja shit right now, or you can go to the next game. And the next game is one I bet, I'm pretty sure. So if you want to go up and put the over up for me, and what you could try to do is throw a window capture in there of the YouTube stream and crop it so only the comments are showing up. It'd be some ninja shit if you want to go for it while I'm talking. No big deal if you don't want to. But anyway, so yeah, I'm on the over here. Oh no, wrong over. I'm on Boston, Kansas City, prop beaver. I got it at 8.5. I don't really understand the line on this one, and in fact, I think I got reverse line movement here. Yeah, because I think I got it at like minus 120 or something. You get minus 105. So it must be some bad weather or something. But I feel like we just got to keep reiterating this. It's Boston against a righty starter. I don't care if it's Seth Lugo. I don't care if it's Pedro Martinez. It doesn't matter. It's Boston against a righty starter. They continue to hit every righty starter they've seen. So I expect Boston to score runs here. And then you got Bayo making a road start in Kansas City. Ballpark's been giving up a lot of runs all year. I'm assuming the weather's a little weird today, right, Toast? Is that why it's?
Yeah.
I don't care.
I don't either.
Boston's been getting the barrel on the ball against righty starters. 2 months now. We're coming up. In the last 30 days, the Boston Red Sox are the best road lineup in baseball and the best lineup in baseball against righties. They're first across the board in both. So I don't care that Seth Lugo's on the mound until a couple righty starters in a row are able to put together quality starts against Boston. There's no reason to doubt them to score. So I expect Boston to score, and then Kansas City at home, been a solid lineup all year, and it's Bayo. So yeah, over 8.5. I said I like the over 10 last night. Didn't play it. Should have. But yeah, like the over here. I don't care about the weather.
You weren't on Boston team total yesterday? I thought we were both on that.
No, a lot of people in the Discord were. I didn't personally take it. On the show, I said I like the over at 10, but I didn't take it because it was 10.
That's right. I wasn't even on the show yet. I'm an idiot. Yeah, I'm on the over as well. I don't really worry. If the line movement has anything to do with the weather, I'm not worried about it at all. And I will explain why. Because there's one thing about Kansas City is it's huge. The ballpark is absolutely huge. So for runs, like when teams just score runs, that's a top 10 ballpark in Major League Baseball. For home runs, it's like bottom like 5%. Like, so is there going to be home runs tonight? No, our friends over at Ballpark Pal have it minus 27%. But as far as triples, doubles, singles, all that stuff, I mean, balls can still get into gaps. I mean, to be honest, if you hit a ball hard and it just drops into a gap and it doesn't get a home run, I mean, these guys can run around too. I mean, we have some of the fastest players in Major League Baseball on both of these teams. With Witt and Duran and Garcia and all those guys. So again, I just wanted to point out that the wind blowing in really doesn't bother me since we're in the fact that we're in Kansas City.
Charles was big. Charles took Boston money line last night too, plus 125.
I should have. I just did their team.
He tagged me in it too. He tagged me and it was like Boston up plus 125, and I freaking didn't bet it. All right, Moda, what are you doing?
Yeah, you guys kind of made my argument for me, but it's Bayo over 2.5 earned runs, plus 100 odds on this one as well. It's backing the minus 105. Sorry, this one's minus 105. But yeah, I mean, backing the Royals bats at home is always going to be a good bet. Like there's some, for whatever reason, like even though they're ballpark, like it's, I mean, I guess it's not home run friendly. It is generally run friendly. And like Bayo's admittedly been a little bit unlucky if you look at his last 10 starts, just from like his ERA to like advanced stuff, but he's still given up 3 or more runs in 7 of his last 10 starts. Even his advanced stuff is still below average. And the Royals against right-handed pitching over the last 30 days, 9th best offense in WRC plus, 6th best WOBA, 6th best WRAA, 6th best OPS. So I think 3 runs against Bayo, I think they should be able to do.
Cool. Next game. And I got 2 more bets coming. Mets. I got CLV out the ass in this one. I got a great price here. Does that mean it's going to be a win? Who knows? But I did get great closing line value here. Actually, it's not as bad. I thought it was down to plus 120. You could still get plus 130s. I got the Rockies at plus 146.
Wow, missed that. Jeez.
Yeah, FanDuel last night too. FanDuel plus 146 last night. Severino, I mean, you got the Mets flying into Coors with no days off. Not to mention they've been traveling all over the place. They were out in LA. Yeah, 3rd city in 3 days. They were out in LA, then flew to St. Louis for 1 game. Then he immediately fly into Coors Field of all places. Like Coors Field is not a place you want to be thrown into the mix when you're flying all over the place, because obviously the air pressure is different, and I'm sure there's a meteorologist explanation of why. It's like 5,000 miles above sea level or some shit. 5,000 feet. 5,000 feet. So yeah. They immediately find a Coors Field after spending 1 day in St. Louis. Severino hasn't looked good recently. Him in Coors Field doesn't sound like anything I want to be a part of. And on the other side, not only has Kyle Freeland been pitching well, he's been pitching well in Coors Field. Interesting enough, I don't even have it in front of you. I'm pretty sure his last 3 home starts, he's got like a 2.11 ERA or some shit. He's actually been pitching well in Coors. So everything across the board points to being a nice spot for the Rockies. If I get this bet, Rockies money line plus 146 probably will slam the Mets minus 1.5 tomorrow once they've been in Coors for a day. But right here, I think this is a Rocky spot, and I got about 20 cents of closing line value on it.
Moda, you got any dogs? I'm playing the over, but it's nothing special.
Yeah, I do. I have Francisco Lindor. Admittedly, the travel thing does make me a little bit nervous. But I mean, Lindor's just been on fire. Like he doesn't have a home run, I think, in like, I think 10 games, but his last 3 games, he's got a combined 7 hard hits. He's just been crushing the ball. And on Sunday, he had a hit that was initially called a home run that was called back because it ended up being foul. But he crushed
it. That, and he had that one that Pilar caught that was like 3 feet from being a home run too. So
yeah. So he's just been raking. It's against a lefty where he's much better. 27.2% ISO rate against lefties, up from 17.9 against righties. And he crushes Freeland's pitch mix. Top 4 most frequent pitches: sinker, slider, fastball, curveball. The only one of those 4 that he doesn't have a good ISO rate against is the slider. And I don't actually know this, but my guess is it's because he doesn't hit righty sliders well. It's different when it's from a lefty. It's like a completely different angle based on the handedness of the pitcher. And if there's a stat where you can look at pitch mix versus also handedness of the pitcher, I would like to see that, because I would try to find like how he hits sliders against lefties to see if there's any different. But even if he doesn't hit sliders well, the other three pitches he hits well, he's been crushing the baseball. It's in Coors Field. Everything lines up for Lindor to hit one. And this is another one of my Dinger Tuesday plays. And I forgot to say it earlier. The 3 Dinger Tuesday I had was him, Jock Peterson, and Santander, who I forgot to mention earlier. But everything else I put in a round robin, those 3 I put a quarter unit straight up.
Cool. Next game, and Toast, this I I feel like
the over, by the way, in that game. Go ahead.
What's up?
I played the over in Colorado, by the way. But,
oh, you didn't even get to go? My bad.
It's fine. It's not a big deal. I'm not worried about it.
This next one, we're on Seattle. I don't really understand why I really like my bet here. I got Seattle -1.5 at +106 or something. I really don't understand why that hasn't moved at all. I mean, Luis Castillo, this on paper, Luis Castillo should throw a complete game shutout here. Seriously, Luis Castillo, first of all, he's been so good at home. In his last 3 home starts, he's got a 1.83 ERA, 0.92 WHIP. In his last 6 home starts, 2.15 ERA, 0.90 WHIP. So this dude at home has been unstoppable. But even more importantly than that, the Tigers bats have gone so ice cold. What have they scored, like 4 runs in their last 4 games? Like, they are not scoring runs at all. That Tigers lineup has gone ice cold. And the reason that's so significant, Luis Castillo this year against bottom 10 lineups, he's got an 0.80 ERA. 45 innings pitched, 0.80 ERA. So Luis Castillo has been dominant, and I mean absolutely dominant, when he's gotten the opportunity to pitch against bad lineups. So at home where he's been dominant, against bad lineups where he's been dominant. Also, Luis Castillo can get into trouble against lefty bats. Tigers aren't overly loaded with lefty bats. I think they have 4 of them. Nothing that would scare me off this bet here. And I'm wondering why the line for this isn't closer to -260, -270. I think the gap between these two teams is that big. I mean, maybe if this was 3 weeks ago when the Mariners weren't hitting, that's not the case anymore. In the last 2 weeks, the Mariners are a top 10 lineup. I mean, top 10 lineup against righties, top 10 lineup overall. So there's just no reason that I think this price should be about where the Yankees-Angels game was. I think there's that big of a gap. And if you throw in the pitching matchup, yeah, I think this should be about -280. So the fact that I got Mariners -1.5 at +105, I think that price is off.
Yeah, I agree. And you can add on that price that you would assume that it's bigger. You can add on the fact that the total's juiced to 7.5 to the under. So it's almost like they think that both guys are going to deal, because why else would they hang out a guy with a 7.5 juice to the under with Kiter Montero, who's given up 4 runs in his last 5 starts or whatever? I mean, it's absolutely ridiculous. Not that Seattle is some world-beating offense, but again, since they've made the trades over the last 14 days, they're 8th in WRC plus, they're 9th in WOBA, they're 10th in OPS. I mean, it's just absolutely ridiculous. So I don't know. I think I might just end up playing the over. I did have a bet on this previously. I had Seattle first 5 and Yankees first 5 money lines together because I wanted to isolate both starting pitchers. But obviously the Yankees game isn't going to play. But you guys know me, and I hate Luis Castillo. I think he's like the definition of average that everybody loves. But at home, he has been absolutely fantastic. I guess you could say that he hasn't had the best history against Detroit. But, and there's a huge but that goes with that, this isn't the same Detroit team that we know and love, or even that we're used to, considering the fact that you're having guys like Malloy, Midris, Parker Meadows, Javi Baez. I mean, it's just absolutely terrible when you go down that lineup. So, like Kyle said, on paper, Seattle should win this game 6-2. I mean, so, yeah, it's Seattle at best.
Yeah, I like my bet here, and I think maybe because of that huge hitting slump they went through, that Seattle maybe is not perceived in the market as a team that could hit. But if you look at their numbers, they are hitting.
Yeah, I mean, look at the Phillies series. Zach Wheeler came out and blanked them. Zach Wheeler had to show them who was boss just to make sure that the Phillies didn't go through an all-out tailspin. But keep in mind, the previous 2 games against the Phillies, they scored 16 runs. Yeah. Go back to the next series. Yes, they had a bad last game against Boston. Previous 2 games before that, 17 runs. Previous 3 games before that, 22 runs. So Mariners are scoring runs. That's not can be denied.
Modi?
Yeah, I didn't actually play anything in this one. I do want to give a shout out. Someone posted, I thought was like for pretty good analysis, Victor Robles home run. It's +750, which is really good price. And he's in crushing sliders and fastballs, which is what Montero mostly throws. So yeah, I didn't actually bet that one myself. I thought it was a good price. So I just want to give it a shout out.
Cool. So Robles home run. All right. Prop Beaver, take us to the next one. We got 2 more left, I believe. No interest in this one. Obviously to Oakland at -220 is nuts. That is how low the White Sox have sunk, that I'm not willing to fade Oakland at -220. That's when you know, like, this is never before seen territory. The Oakland Athletics at -220, and I'm still like, Obviously, at this price, it would only be the copy and paste what I said from yesterday. At this price, it would only be the White Sox, but I'm not playing the White Sox, so just pass.
I was on Oakland team total yesterday over 4.5. That was a very lucky cash. I will give you that, but I did play the over again today at 8.5. I got it at plus 100. It's still around that. I'm still like minus 105 now or whatever. That's how I like this game. I don't have any reason to think that Oakland's going to stop scoring runs. I know that they're kind of been hit or miss at times lately, especially like when they face the Dodgers and then Logan Webb flanked them. But for the most part, this Oakland team has been able to score runs essentially pretty much on anybody. Over the last 30 days, Oakland's number 3 in Major League Baseball, OPS, WRC+, WOBA, all that good stuff. Not to mention at home over the last 30 days, they're first in WRC+, second OPS, third in WOBA. And then on the other side, Ross Stripling is a guy that I just don't trust at all. His 2 home starts this year, he's been his 2 home starts this year absolutely throttled. I'll give you Texas and Houston much better lineups, but again, both at the time this was 2 months ago, 3 months ago, those teams really weren't that good. I mean, keep it how bad Houston and Texas were to start the year, and he gave up 6 to Houston and he gave up 5 to Texas on 10 hits. I understand the White Sox are terrible. I get it. But at the same time, with Vargas and stuff in the top of the lineup, and Robert and Sheets and Vaughn should be back in the lineup today. They still got guys that can score runs. So I think just with bad pitching and some guys that still want to hit the baseball, I just played over 8.5.
Modi?
Yeah, last song of the day, Lawrence Butler, absolutely legend for what he came through yesterday. He was the 4th guy that I had to hit, and he was pinch hit, so I didn't even I went to bed thinking he wasn't going to play. He pinch hit a home run. It was amazing. And the best part is I had him yesterday. It was supposed to be against Jonathan Cannon, and then they switched Cannon to today. So I'm just copying and pasting my notes from yesterday.
Oh, yeah.
He's been on fire. Lawrence Butler has been incredible. Even if you take out the 3 home run game he had right before the All-Star break, his numbers even after that game are still incredible. Obviously, hit a home run yesterday in limited at bats as he was a pinch hitter. And Cannon gets smoked by left-handed hitters. He's seen basically the same number of at bats. It's equal. 7 of his 9 home runs allowed have come to lefties. 10 of his 18 doubles have come to lefties. They're hitting 284 against him with the 530 slugging, 364 WOBA. Lawrence Butler hits Cannon's pitch mix as well. We're still getting plus 520 odds on him, and he's been phenomenal. I get that everybody's going to be on Rooker, and he's also a good bet. It was just a play. It was just a play on the odds. Like you're playing plus 340 or something like that for Rooker, and I like Butler just as much for plus 520. Honestly, if you wanted to parlay the 2 of them, I think that's totally fine. I would not talk anybody out of Rooker.
I just want to add one thing on my handy dandy notebook that I have written down here. It's funny that people aren't going to realize this, but Lawrence Butler over the last 30 days has a better OPS and has been better than Brett Rooker has. It's not by much, but he has been better over the last 28 to 30 days. So I like that a lot, Modi.
All right, next.
Love it.
Phillies. Okay, yeah. I'm just going to pop a piece of nicotine and let you guys talk. Phillies suck.
I'll just say I didn't play this game either. I have no idea what to do with the Phillies.
I'm on the Phillies. I'll be there tonight, rooting on the boys. Just jump on the bandwagon. There's still plenty of seats available for everybody. Clayton Kershaw's terrible. We all know that. We just saw the Padres absolutely light him up, and now he faces a Phillies team that I understand has been struggling a little bit, but over the last 14 days, Philly's still number 1 in baseball against left-handed pitching, number 2 in the last 30 days, number 2 in the full season. On the road, they have not been as great. I will give you that. But they just got embarrassed last night, and now they have to face this Dodgers team with Christopher Sanchez on the mound that hasn't been great on the road. I will give you that. But this Dodgers team versus left-handed pitching, 20th in WRC+, 21st in WOBA, or 21st in OPS as well, the last 14 and 30 days. Over the full season, the Dodgers hit lefties very, very well. But when you take out those main guys out of the lineup, it's not the same. So on the flip side of that, the Dodgers bullpen absolutely taxed to oblivion. Daniel Hudson, 3 of the last 4 days. Michael Kopech, who's been a revelation for this team, 2 of the last 3 days, over 30 pitches as well. Evan Phillips, I hope he comes into the game. Please, God, come into the game, Evan Phillips. Anthony Banda, who looks somewhat decent, 3 of the last 4 nights as well. Even if you like Clayton Kershaw, you know that he's not going deep into this ballgame. If he gets through 5 full innings, I'd be surprised. And then you're going to have to worry about that Dodgers bullpen. So everybody in Phillies bullpen is rested and ready to go. Bryce Harper's going to hit a home run tonight. Phillies are going to win. I'll talk to you guys later.
Bryce Harper's going to hit a home run.
I've been saying that for a week.
Who was president the last time Bryce Harper hit a home run?
He hit one like 2 days ago.
I'm pretty sure he just nuked one out of Seattle for all those fans.
I was making
He hit
a
one on
joke.
Sunday.
I know you were. He's been terrible.
It was really funny.
Pretty sure Biden was the president because he has like 25 home runs this year.
I could have told you that answer. That's not a good one.
All right. Do you want to serenade them with your song, Prop Beaver?
Community parlay, the parlay we bet, yeah. Community parlay is for the community. We community, making a parlay. Yeah.
All right. Community parlay. Let's talk about it.
Don't talk about it. Be about it.
Okay. Padres first. Did they like Cleveland or probably Cleveland with Lively? Yeah. Reds and Giants.
I know UCapper really likes Cleveland first 5. If you guys like UCapper, I know he really likes it. Yeah. Cleveland's like 12-0 since 2022 or something on a 3-game losing streak. I don't know. Lots of reasons to like them.
You want to go for a window capture? I think you could do it. Yes, you can.
Come on, Beaver. We know you got it in you.
Stop yelling. Yes, so you take Alt and only show what you want to show. I've done it several times. It's pretty easy.
For the record, Kyle says things are easy. They're not that easy sometimes.
It's easy. He's just going to show a screen capture of the YouTube stream and then Alt crop it so it only shows the bottom. I've done it 1,000 times. In fact, I've done it while giving a pitch for a bet. Simultaneously. All right, next up. Yankees money line.
Did I miss anything compelling?
No, you missed
Kyle just debating or berating Prop Beaver.
I was trying to get. Oh my God! See.
All right. So what do we have now? Padres.
Padres money lines in the community parlay. It's I'm sorry. Yankees are close on. Orioles, Braves, Cardinals, Astros. No, actually, I think they voted Rangers in that one. So Orioles, Rays, Cardinals, Rangers. Okay, so now do add window capture. There you go. Now choose. Yeah, hit OK. Now choose the stream. Yeah. Now use the Alt and select it so they only see the comments in the bottom right. There you go. See? Oh, that was so hard. How could anyone do that?
Oh my God. Yeah.
No, you'll make it smaller. Make it smaller so they only see like the bottom 3 No. The most recent comments at the bottom. That's fine.
Painful.
No, are you serious? Make it thinner and stretch it out. It's just only common sense. Make it thinner first. Hold Alt, make it thinner, and then make the whole thing bigger. Make it thinner so it fits. Come on now. Well, now you went way too far with it. Dude, this is like simple stuff. There you go.
I just see.
I mean, you got
dying laughing.
Dude, this dude, you throw any single thing of adversary at him, and he has a child's fit.
That's funny.
See, it's easy to do. He had never done that before, so I guess maybe it's a little bit whatever. If that happened when I was producing it, you guys wouldn't even have noticed. That's how fast that would have been up. So Orioles money line. All right, go. Did they pick Twins or Cubs? I think they might have picked Cubs with Imanaga. That's an ugly. Put Cubs up.
I don't remember.
Then Royals, Mets, and Mariners.
Damn, Baltimore's really jumping up now.
The price change again.
Someone in the comments is like, hold on. Hold on.
Beaver seems like he was breastfed until he was 14.
You guys don't understand though. Kyle can sit there and you guys see his videos. Like if you're at his house, he's sitting there, he's like talking to you, and he's got like 7 fingers on 5 different keys, and it's all in construction. He doesn't make any mistakes. It's so irritating sometimes because you can't call Kyle and be like, hey, I got like a computer problem. He'd be like, what is it?
He's a fucking prick is what he is.
My apologies for trying to make you better at your job.
No, I envy your computer skills. Like,
no, I was talking to Beaver, he's still complaining over there. Who won this next poll?
Can the audience hear that or only us?
No one can hear. No one. That was Andy.
Oh, that makes it even better.
No one heard that.
That's funny.
Andy said, I don't think I've ever been more excited to come into the office today. All right. The last 2 are Oakland Athletics money line and Phillies money line. And then I'll throw out some second places. We got
so it's Padres, Orioles, Mariners, Phillies.
Padres, Orioles, Mariners. No, we're doing the last one right now. Padres,
okay.
The last one is Phillies, Athletics. And then the 2 second places, give them Royals money line and give them a lot of people voted for the Braves. Just give them the Braves, Royals and Braves.
Also, Andy, I know you're doing college football, but soon after, we need to start having some conversations about NCAA basketball.
It's no.
Thank you.
No, you're not talking about college. The season hasn't even kicked off yet. We're not talking college basketball. I need Angie for a full 3 months of college football before you can even talk about college basketball.
All right.
Jesus Christ.
Hearing Prop Beaver laugh in the background, it could give child nightmares.
Andy, we need to start talking college basketball. The football isn't even kicked off. We're still a month away. No, we don't need to talk college basketball right now. Or anytime soon.
I'm diving into 2025 MLB if you guys want to hop in some future stuff that I'm doing on my channel.
Yeah?
Yeah.
College basketball futures?
No, 2025 MLB futures.
Are you really?
No.
I was going to say, like, dude. Like, Matt, come on, man. You're better than that.
You're better than that.
Someone shout out some odds, please. Athletics of the last leg.
Give me 2 seconds. Athletics of the last leg. Plus 450. Yikes.
Plus 450. It's a square one, but you know what? Maybe the community needs to see one go through the net. Padres money line, Orioles money line, Mariners money line, Athletics money line plus 450. All right, Toast. Enjoy your game tonight. Toast will be in attendance. Me and Modi are about to talk about the Houston Texans.
Have a good night, guys.
Talk some NFL. Yeah, probably was going to switch the screen up, so it's me and Matthew. Is he really? Oh, here, I can look right here. Lineup confirmed. Lineup. Profar's in it.
Oh, whew. All right, we're good. Yeah, he's in it. Yeah, we're good. I mean, it was a trusted source. It was the Night Owl, not someone who would just troll around.
Oh no, the Night Owl usually doesn't say.
No, so he must have just. Oh, it's all good. It's all good.
Night Owl, are you smoking glass again? All right, Texans. All right, very interesting team. In my opinion, well, okay, so last year this team had very huge splits as far as their strengths and weaknesses, right? And they were almost like obvious. There was 2 huge strengths, 2 huge weaknesses, the 4 main elements of football. Strengths, passing offense. I mean, probably the best passing attack in football against zone coverage when C.J. Stroud was in. As far as passing offense goes, about a top 3 in the NFL last year when Stroud was healthy. It's only going to get better now that they add Stephon Diggs and now that Tank Dell is healthy. I mean, it's only going to get better, the passing offense. So no criticism at all towards the Houston Texans offense. I mean, there's not much evidence to indicate there's going to be any negative regression there. But sticking on the offensive side, you know what? Actually, I kind of have some positive things. Before I get into it, Modi, what are your thoughts on Joe Mixon? Do you think does that move the needle for you?
No, I mean, it doesn't move the needle at all. He's just a guy. He's reliable. He's good in pass protection. He's good in the at the goal line if they decide to run it. Dameon Pierce seems like has just fallen out of favor. I actually thought he had some juice 2 years ago when which was his rookie year. But no, I mean, Joe Mixon doesn't inspire any movement, positive or negative.
Now, something that Propever pointed out, this is interesting, and granted, he said it like this is kind of a thin way. Like he admitted that this isn't like a end-all be-all stat, but apparently Joe Mixon had really nice numbers when the quarterback lines up, when he gets a handoff, when the quarterback lines up under center, which apparently the Texans did a lot more of than Cincinnati. So theoretically, he should fit better into Houston. Now, again, that's like razor thin, and we're just throwing stuff out there. But that is something that theoretically Mixon should be a solid fit, whether or not you think Joe Mixon is even any good. So there's something. But sticking on the offense, and look, they didn't make any upgrades to their offensive line, but did they even need to? I mean, the whole offensive line was hurt. It wasn't that their offensive line was bad. I mean, they were bad, but they weren't out there. They were hurt. The average offensive lineman in the NFL, like if you start all 17 games, you're going to play about 1,000 snaps, give or take, in between 950 and 1,100 snaps. So if you're an offensive lineman in the NFL, a starter, and you play the whole season, you're going to play about 1,000 snaps. The Texans only had one offensive lineman, the right guard Shaq Mason, that played 1,100 snaps. So they have one lineman that hit that. Other than that, they had Tunsil, who played like 800-something snaps. Their next highest was Fant, who's not even a starter. He played like 800 snaps. Their guys, I mean, their Juice Scruggs only played 400 snaps and change. Titus Howard, right, only played 400 snaps and change. So the Texans offensive line, yeah, the run blocking numbers look pretty terrible. But keep in mind, we don't even know what this offensive line looks like, because we barely saw it. It was so hurt. So the fact that they didn't upgrade the offensive line, I don't really care, because we don't even know how good that offensive line, or how good or bad that offensive line is. So they're coming into this year healthy. So
yeah, just to further prove your point about the offensive line, I forget the exact stat because Warren Sharp tweeted it out, but like they set a record for most games lost, like adjusted games lost by their offensive line. Like it was like the most games lost from their offensive line in like 5 years. It wasn't just injuries. It was the most injuries that a team has suffered on the offensive line again. And like, I forget the exact stat. I should have looked it up.
Propever just read that off. Since 2001, Propever. Yeah.
Jesus, not even 5 years. Jesus, 25 years.
23 years. So that's the most games lost via the offensive line, via injuries to the offensive line in 23 years of NFL football.
And their offense was still awesome. They had the 14th, according to DVOA, the 14th best offense. They had the 10th best passing offense specifically. And last year, PFF had CJ Stroud as the 13th best quarterback in the NFL, and they project him to be top 10 this year. So yeah, I mean, like, I don't know if we're giving official predictions, if I could just go there, but like, they're my favorite Super Bowl bet to make, the Texans.
Okay,
because you can get a really good price.
Before that, okay, so I'm going to play a little bit of devil's advocate here. And by no means does this mean like I'm not big on the Texans or anything, but I feel in order to accurately and objectively see something, you need to try to look through it through the other lens, right? You need to try to look at it through the other lens. Offensively, can you go to CJ Stroud's passing versus man in zone, please?
So that, and also he lit up bad defenses and he was really bad against good defenses. So that is definitely something to consider.
Right. So we'll start with the man in zone, and I want to show the pressure too. So the roadmap to slowing down CJ Stroud started to become clearer as the season went on. You can't sit in zone coverage against this kid. He is maybe the best quarterback in the NFL when you sit in, well, probably Mahomes. Mahomes kills zone coverage. It's kind of similar numbers to Mahomes, actually, because Mahomes was struggling against man last year. But this kid, you can't sit in zone coverage against this kid. Very clear. Now go to the pressured and kept clean. It should be right in there somewhere. It's CJ Stroud pressured and kept clean. And then again, you cannot sit back in zone coverage. Look what happens when you don't get crushed. You cannot sit back in zone coverage and let this kid get a clean pocket. He will destroy you. He's best in the NFL at it. But when you put pressure on him, he goes from one of the best quarterbacks in the league to an average quarterback. So I think the fact that, and again, I'm just playing devil's advocate here, the fact that these DCs across the NFL have a little bit of a roadmap of how to give this kid problems, put pressure in his face and make him make decisions against man coverage. But I mean, even trying to play devil's advocate, who's got 4 D-backs that can cover Diggs, Tank Dell, Nico Collins, and even Dalton Schultz? Like, who's got the defensive roster to make those 4 covers if you're going to go that route? No, I can't see the Texans offense being slowed down, even though I do think there are some smart defensive coordinators out there that will have a game plan to make it interesting. I'll say that.
Yeah. For me, it's like you could just bet the Chiefs again because they have Patrick Mahomes. But like, if you look at the history of the NFL, like teams that win the Super Bowl fit in like 3 categories. It's like you have the GOAT. You either have Tom Brady or Patrick Mahomes. You have a young quarterback on a rookie deal making the leap in his second year starting. Like, the Eagles did that in 2017. The Eagles did that in 2022 with Jalen Hurts. The Seahawks did that with Russell Wilson his second year. The Steelers back with Big Ben. Like there's a ton of Aaron Rodgers. There's a ton of history. The Bengals with Joe Burrow. Yeah. There's a ton of history of young quarterbacks taking the leap. And like
before they get paid.
Before they get paid, because then you can pay Stephon Diggs. You can pay Danielle Hunter on the defensive line. You can make upgrades elsewhere before the quarterback gets his deal. It's like a tale as old as time with the new CBA. And that is it CBA with the NFL, or am I just stealing an NBA word? But whatever. Either way,
I think it's still CBA.
Yeah, it's like the rookie salary cap scale is what I'm talking about. And like there's a couple things that I like. They kept their offensive coordinator, which is massive. We see a lot like teams not be like a defensive minded head coach. Dan Quinn loses their offensive mastermind, and they aren't able to replicate that level of success. They kept him. That's really important. Their defense is not going to be the best in the NFL, but like they took a huge step last year. They were the 4th worst defense in 2022. They were completely average in 2023 last year. And like D'Amico Ryans, granted he had a ton of talent, had elite defenses every year in San Francisco. You figure he'll be able to coach up that unit, which like another year for Stingley. Again, they added another defensive line in Will Anderson, rookie of the year. Like you expect him to make a step forward. They just like fit a ton of different things.
I have pushback on that.
Yeah,
if we're switching over to the defense. Okay. If we're switching over to the defense. So on the offense, I tried to play devil's advocate and throw some negativity out there. I don't even believe my own words. I think the offense is going to be good. Like, I don't even believe my own words. That being said, I think I could poke holes in this defense, and I think my points would be valid, honestly. Okay. So remember I did the strengths of the offense. They passed the shit out of the ball, couldn't really run it. Both should be improved, the passing and the rushing attack. On defense, it was also very one-sided. They had one of the best run defenses in the NFL, really struggled against the pass. I think you can make an argument that maybe both of these units are in jeopardy. I think the run defense is definitely going to take a step backwards. And I don't think people realize how important the Houston Texans run defense was last year. Now, the run stoppers in the NFL don't get the same kind of press that the pass defenders do. Like, people love corners, right? Lockdown corners. People love pass rushers. They love sacks. Like that's what gets the headlines. That's like a Daniel Hunter. That lights up the headlines. But the Texans took some losses of people that were pretty key in stopping the run. Blake Cashman, Adrian Amos at safety. In fact, on PFF, Pro Football Focus, now again, if you're familiar with PFF, you know that you can't take those ratings as gospel. They're more as just a guideline. But 4 of the Texans' top 5 run stoppers on PFF are gone. And this was a defense that literally, the backbone of this defense was stopping the run. So I expect this run defense to go from top 3 to a step backwards for sure. And as far as the pass defense, yes, you add Danielle Hunter, who's the man, right? One of the best pass rushers in football. Certainly huge upgrade. Look at that secondary. The safeties aren't bad, but those corners, if Stingley is unable to stay healthy, you're going to have a team that's really thin at cornerback. You're going to have a guy like Jeff Okudah that needs to play a serious role on the, and then Jeff Okudah was awesome at Ohio State, but in the NFL, he hasn't really panned out. And if Stingley is unable to stay on the field, and by the way, this isn't a huge if. This is his 3rd season in the NFL. He's already missed 12 games. He missed, I think, he's He missed like 8 games and 4 games of the 2 seasons. Like, he has not been able to stay healthy for a full season. So if Stingley is unable to stay healthy, and even with Stingley, the Texans are really thin at corner. So pass defense was a problem last year. I don't think adding Daniel Hunter all of a sudden fixes that. I mean, I'm sure it's an upgrade, but I think that it's valid that you can poke holes in the Texans defense. That's all I'm saying. And again, 100%. I'm just trying to be like devil's advate is all.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, my argument isn't that the Texans are going to have a top 5 defense. It's that they were completely average last year. They had dramatic splits between run defense and pass defense. They were, like I said, they're 16th in DVOA. They could be 16th again, and they can win the Super Bowl. There's plenty of teams that can win the Super Bowl with an average defense if their offense is as good as we think the Texans' offense is going to be. And like I get, like, people are going to be down on Diggs. They're going to get Diggs on his best behavior. He's on a 1-year deal. Like, he's not going to cause trouble on a 1-year deal. He's not going to be like he was at the end of Buffalo, like at the end of Minnesota, where he wears out his welcome. He's going to be, like I said. You think I'm wrong about that?
No. I was actually agreeing with you in a sense that here's the thing with NFL media, they know what gets clicks, and diva wide receiver causing problems gets clicks. So even if Stephon Diggs just like looks over weird, that shit's going to get shared on Twitter a million times, even if it was nothing. So what I'm saying is that kind of thing usually gets exaggerated. Like, I'm sure Stephon Diggs isn't a complete piece of shit. The social media just makes him look like that because it gets clicks. So I'm sure whatever that situation was exaggerated. That's the point I was making. I agree.
No,
I agree.
100%. And fun fact, Stephon Diggs went to my high school. He was 2 years younger than me. Went to high school with Stephon Diggs. He's a good kid. Like, he's a knucklehead. He's cocky. He knows how talented he is. He's not going to actually cause trouble. He's not going to pull a Jimmy Butler in Minnesota. He's not going to completely tear apart the locker room. So I'm not really worried about that. And even if he was, he's going to, like I said, he's going to be on his best behavior because he wants to get another deal. As he's 30 years old now, so he's like, this is his last chance he has.
Yeah, and not to mention, like, you could really make a strong argument that he's wide receiver 3. I know that's crazy to say, but Nico Collins and Tank Dell were on such a mission that, like, it's not like he knows the Texans don't necessarily need him, you know? Like if he starts causing problems, they can just be like, all right, sweet. Like, you know, like, we're cool.
Yeah. And like, they're all like, Nico Collins and Tank Dell are awesome. Stephon Diggs can be completely washed and they'd still have like a really good top 2 wide receivers. And Noah Brown's like a totally fine third receiver. Like, he stepped up when Tank Dell was hurt last year. I mean, I'm
not a Noah Brown guy. He used to be a Cowboy.
Well, no, I'm not saying that he's good, but like, if he's your third receiver and he can even be in, like, Dalton Schultz, like another Cowboy, but like, they're totally fine in their roles. Yeah. I mean, as you can tell, I love the Texans this year. They're like fit. Like I said, a lot of things, they check the box for a Super Bowl contender, unless you're just like, but Mahomes. And there's really no argument to but Mahomes.
But Mahomes and the officials. Joking. Don't want to start that in the comments. Just making a joke. All right. But now we go to the Texans' biggest obstacle, the schedule. Yeah. This team could honestly, realistically, be 10-0. Well, maybe let's say 9-1. This team could. I mean, there's. I'm not saying every single game is a win, but they start off with such cake, right? The Texans are probably going to be 9-1, or at least like 8-2. I'd say 8-2 is a real. But if you look at the schedule, the first half of the schedule, they could realistically be 10-0. But then look at the latter part of this schedule. They go through a gauntlet in the last 6-7 games, which is not. Obviously, football's big on momentum, right? You don't want to go into the playoffs not playing your best football. And I honestly could see like the Texans being like, I could see us sitting. Prop Beaver's getting the schedule on the screen now, and I could see us, and I'll show you exactly what point on the schedule I'm talking about here. So tell me this doesn't make exact sense, right? The Texans, we can go through it. Colts is a win. Home against the Bears should be a win. At Minnesota, win. Home against Jacksonville, probably a win. Home against Buffalo, Diggs will probably rip his whole team up. At New England, win. At Green Bay, could be a loss, but they get that one in October before it's cold. I could see them winning that game, honestly. Home against Indianapolis, win. At Jets, Thursday night, that's going to be a tough one on a short week against that defense. So at Jets is probably a toss-up. They could lose that game. Home against Detroit is another toss-up. But now we're getting into the other parts of the schedule. So let's say entering that Jets game, they could be 8-0. That's not crazy to say. 7-1 if you want to take the Green Bay game away from them. But then you go at New York on a short week. The Lions, who should be good as hell. At Dallas on Monday Night Football, that's going to be a problem. I mean, I think the Texans probably be better than the Cowboys, but at Dallas on Monday Night Football, Dak's going to he's going to throw some touchdowns. Then you got home Tennessee. Then you got at Jacksonville, Miami, at Kansas City, Baltimore. So can't you just see like an 8-0 Texan team actually somehow finishing in like the 3 seed? Like I could just see it playing out like that. Really.
Well, what you just told me was that you can make a bet last remaining undefeated team. Texans at plus 1,500.
Yo, what book's that on?
That's on FanDuel. I mean that's the first thing I thought of was last undefeated team, Texans. I mean, their first 4 games. I can't see it.
So their first 4 games is Colts, Bears, Vikings, Jags, and Jags at home.
So like last year, the Eagles were the last undefeated team, and they were 5-0. They were the last undefeated team at 5-0. So like you need to win your first 4, 5, 6. I mean, I don't know. Like I guess we should probably compare that to the other schedules.
Yeah,
but...
I know. That's what I was just thinking, and that's the downside of doing it this way. Where I'm having this problem in college football as well. Like we're doing the American Conference today, and we're like going through the schedule, and it's like, well, shit, I haven't even looked at Tulsa yet. So like I don't know if this is a win. I haven't gotten there. So I'm definitely writing this down though.
I bet there's websites you can look at like the easiest first 8 games of a schedule or something.
Yeah,
because like, I mean, like the Green Bay is going to be tough, but that's week. That's their 7th game.
Yeah, we're talking about 6-0 at that point if they are undefeated. I think home against Jacksonville and home against Buffalo are very winnable. I especially like the idea of Diggs against his old team in Houston. And then
like, And I don't know if you've done the Bills yet, but like everything is screaming towards this being a rebuilding year for the Bills. They have no receivers. Their defense has lost some guys, and they're older. I love Josh Allen; he's the man. But like, who's he throwing to? Khalil Shakir and Chris Samuel.
Yeah. Someone saying no way they beat Buffalo. I mean, you do agree that they'll probably be favored in that game, though, right?
No way. I think people think the Bills are. This year's Bills team is not the same.
I'm not big on the Bills. Yeah, I'm not big on the Bills this year.
Yeah, me neither.
All right, so it's an over for me as far as win total.
100%.
Yeah, so it's at 9.5, heavily juiced, but 9.5.
Like I said, they're my Super Bowl pick. Like them, I think.
Dude,
a lot of it's based on the value. Like they're plus, I think 1,800 to win the Super Bowl.
You know who I like a lot this year? I just hate their schedule. If the Dolphins had this schedule, I would like them more. The Dolphins, I think, got better and are going to be a problem. Their schedule is fucked up, dude. Like the Dolphins' schedule, like they should riot.
I'm just not a Tua guy, to be honest. Like he can put up stats and they can put up 1 million points on all the bad defenses, but I don't necessarily trust them against a good defense.
Yeah. All right. How about some college football? Let's get Andrew on the screen. Modi, thanks for joining, man. Make sure you guys show Matt some support. He's tagged in the tweet. His it's Jedi Modi right there. That's his Twitter. That's also the name of his channel. He does the Dong Report. He's been killing it. Doing those stupid ass home run props that I like to make fun of, but he keeps hitting them. So
if you found me compelling, that's where you can find me.
Yeah, that's where you can find him if you found him compelling.
All right, see you,
Matt.
fellas.
Talk to you later, man. All right, Andrew. Hey, appreciate the kind words, guys.
There I am.
You have a two template with Andy, right? All right, cool. All right, Andy, let me bust out my notes. I'm ready to go today. How'd you like that Houston Texans last undefeated team bet? Did you hear that?
I went back and I looked at Green Bay's because we actually talked about that in the office like a week ago. That how easy Green Bay's first 6 games
Packers
were too.
Also,
but I realized that they have to play Philly week 1. Houston has to play a very easy first 4. Like the first 4 weeks for Houston is literal cakewalk. For Green Bay, they have to get through Philly first. So
if the Packers get through Philly, they might.
Yeah, because it's pretty. I think it's pretty much the exact same teams. I think it's the exact combination of 4 teams that the Texans. Yeah. I'm not even kidding.
All right, let's start with Army. Monken's back for his 11th season. Back-to-back 6 and 6 years for Monken and Army. The offensive coordinator left the program to take the head coaching job at New Mexico Highlands, which is a D2 program. So the OC is gone. The new guy's name is Cody Worley, but he's been with the Army program for multiple years, so really not much change. We're pretty much same coaching staff back here for Army. Quarterback is back, Bryson Daly. He made 9 starts. He only dropped back to pass 120 times, which is Army as hell. But his stats weren't terrible. I mean, they weren't good, but they weren't bad. 120 pass attempts. I mean, how could you even critique it? Army running backs are kind of tough to track because so many different guys get carries in that offense. But it looks like most of their leading rushers, if not all of them, are back. Right?
Yeah, you're right. And like you said, you're never going to see a guy that comes in and puts up crazy stats with Army because they spread it out so well. I mean, you have to because those guys are gassed by the end of the drive anyway, so they have to.
Yeah, so so many different backs get touches for Army, but looks like most of them, if not all of them, are back. 4 of 5 offensive linemen are back, which is huge for a program like Army, which obviously is so reliant on running the football. I think the Army offense takes a significant step forward. I don't think we have any reason for it not to get better. They're bringing back the same quarterback, the same backs, most of the same offensive linemen. The OC change isn't a big one. I like the Army offense to take a step forward without a doubt. But on the other side of the ball,
yeah.
What? So the Army defense, good Lord. So they're returning just 3 starters. You can see 128th in defensive returning production. The Black Knights are. They lose 4 of their top 6 defensive linemen. They lose 4 of their top 6 linebackers. Keep in mind, so 4 of their top 6 defensive linemen, 4 of their top 6 linebackers, and keep in mind, this wasn't a great run defense last year. They were ranked 81st in defensive effective rush, 120th in yards per carry against, 109th in defensive run success rate. So this wasn't even a good run defense last year. Now, they don't do themselves any favors with some of the games in their schedule, and they do have a little bit of an easier schedule this year. But this wasn't even a great run defense last year, and they got gutted in the defensive front. So, I mean, they should have real problems stopping the run here. And then, I think the secondary will be a little bit maybe the same, but I don't have any faith in the Army defense. Andy?
Yeah, I agree. I will say this: they are a academy defense, and I know that seems like a formula, basically how everybody always says. So these teams are always so tough, and obviously they're tough. They're doing a lot more than just football, but the idea that just because they are an academy defense, meaning they won't be a pushover, which is how I believe Phil Steele put it, or somebody put it, that this won't be a pushover. Look, they're not adding transfers. They're losing their guys that they've gotten ready. They don't add transfer. They added 1, I think. I think they were the only academy to add 1 too. But they didn't add many. They only added 2 guys. They're basically just saying we need to develop all of these guys to be tough enough and to be good enough defenders. Now going into a conference, which they weren't doing, they were kind of going up against bad teams for a long time in their non-conference. They didn't really do that. But also, you mix all of that together with an offensive style head coach. I don't really get, I don't get why you would just come out in a blanket statement and say, well, because they're an academy defense, I think we should trust them. No, I don't trust them. Their guys aren't talented, and that's just the way that it is. I don't think that this team, I think this is the worst team Army's had in a while. And I think it's the team they needed to be the best because they're moving into the American Conference now. So I think it's a very bad mix for this team.
I think they'll score points, though. It's not like the American Conference is loaded up with defenses. I think Army will score some points, but I agree. I don't know how they're making stops, especially on the ground. So I agree. The problem with making a prediction or placing a bet right now is I haven't gone through some of the other teams in the American Conference. So I'm looking at their schedule right now. I mean, at FAU, you like FAU this year, right?
Yeah, FAU is a better team than them.
Yeah, you would assume that's a loss. But at Temple, I don't even know.
I think they beat. I actually have Temple as a win. Temple is. I mean, we're going to talk about that. They're awful football team. So. And then they get Rice at home. Rice will be an up and down. They're kind of even teams, to be honest. Rice is going through a lot of the things they're going through.
They got at Tulsa. It's a loss. Right?
Yeah, UAB's probably
that's not probably a loss. They got cooked by UAB.
Yeah, UAB's
going to score 70 points on them.
ECU will probably put up a pretty big number on them, too.
Yeah, ECU is interesting. I think we're doing them next.
Yeah, I think they're the next. There's 2 teams.
Yeah. So let's say they have 3 wins so far: Lehigh, Temple, and maybe Rice.
Yeah,
Air Force is Air Force going to be good? They were
Air Force is actually being considered as one of the best teams in the Mountain West, but I really don't see it. So I would say that's a
problem, or at least
they
were a
lost
problem
their
for about
quarterback.
yeah. The Air Force was a problem for about 9 games, and then they just completely fell
Yeah,
off.
and I think they were 9-0, and we did a video on them. They lost that game. We were
Yeah.
like, oh, okay.
Yep, that's exactly what happened. At North Texas, probably a loss, right?
Yeah, they're gonna get booked by Notre Dame too.
Yeah. So I mean, it would only be under
Yeah,
for
this
me,
is
but
an
like
under for
I
me.
don't know. I haven't looked at enough of these American Conference teams to actually place a bet on this yet. So maybe what we should do is when we finish the American Conference, go back and do the win totals at the end.
Yeah.
That's what we should do.
Yeah, I will say that the same situation that happened last year. I think they could go into Navy with 5 wins. That would be very fortunate. That means they would have pulled an upset. I don't think they beat Navy. So.
Yeah. All right, next game. No, I'm not. It would be under or pass. We're not doing it for this one. Charlotte. This is a cool one. Okay.
Oh yeah, fun team.
Fun team. Unexpected
team.
fun team. All right, so Charlotte. Let's get my notes up. Charlotte. All right. Is it Poggy? Is that how you say his
I
name?
think it's Bliff Poggi.
Poggy?
Yeah.
All right, so head coach Poggi, he's back for his 2nd season with the team. Brings back both coordinators with them. Okay, this team's very interesting. 3-9 last year, but 2 of their wins were awesome at Tulsa and at ECU. They also went into Gainesville and held Florida to 22 points. These Charlotte 49ers, Road Warriors, man. Last year, this team like killed it in the portal. All right, so last year they had a quarterback carousel between 2 guys. One of them is gone. Jalen Jones is gone. The other kid is still there, but that doesn't matter because neither of them are going to start. They brought in Max Brown from Florida. He's a sophomore. He only has 1 career start, so we're talking very inexperienced, but his career start is against Florida State. So he played a serious game. They lost that game. Something I want to bring up when he probably was bringing up the you want to bring up the Max Brown's pressure numbers, and this is more funny than anything.
I will say he didn't do well in that game against FSU. They wasn't great, but like they were that was one of the best defenses I think we've ever seen in recent years. That Florida State defense. So he held his own, I guess.
Now this graphic that's on the screen, this is more tongue in cheek. This doesn't mean anything because he's only 28 pass attempts, so this means literally nothing. And probably when you take that, you just put it in stuff and it'll stay on every. And also move it to the bottom so you see the new comments too. So look at his numbers. There's pressure. That's just more funny than anything. That doesn't mean anything. They definite upgrade at quarterback talent wise, but he is a little bit inexperienced. And then running back, kind of the same thing. They bring back 2 of their leading rushers from last year, but neither of them are going to start because they brought in Cartavius Norton from Iowa State. He's got 174 career carries in the Big 12. This dude was taking Power 4 conference carries for the last 2 seasons, actually getting touches too. It's not like he was just riding the bench in Iowa State. He was actually getting touches. So he's going to be the guy. So they bring back their 2 leading rushers. Neither of them are even going to play. They'll play. Neither of them are going to start. Because Cartavius Norton is going to be the guy. So big upgrade at running back too. 4 of the top 5 receivers are back, and they added a few in the portal. I mean, they got a kid from South Carolina, Middle Tennessee, so huge upgrade at receiver as well. Offensive line's a little bit of a worry. They lost 4 starters, but the thing is that the Charlotte offensive line was so bad last year that like it can't get worse.
Good riddance to them, is what I'd say. Those players.
Good riddance. They lost 4 starters on the offensive line, but Charlotte's offensive line was quite literally one of the worst in the FBS. It was really bad. So I don't know if losing 4 pieces on the offensive line for Charlotte is necessarily the offensive line's going to be concerned. We have to say that. Yeah. But they quarterback upgrade, running back they look good, wide receiver they look good. So I like the Charlotte offense. And then you get on the other side. The defense was the strength of Charlotte's team last year. The defense was actually a lot better than people think. People think Charlotte 49ers and they think trash. Their defense was actually somewhat respectable. So they did lose some pieces on the defensive line. Phil Steele said they brought in pieces in the transfer, but I couldn't find them. Sometimes I don't really know what he's talking about. So I didn't know what transfers he was talking about. I couldn't really find any, but he said that.
Yeah, from what I'm looking at, the linebacker's pretty good. Their top transfer recruit Jay Butler is a very good player. They brought him in. So, yeah, they did add pieces on this. I mean, they added pieces all around the team. They were one of the only teams that on our entire chart, it's all 60 and up grades, and that's very good. I haven't seen many teams do that, and a lot of them are defensive players other than the running back. So, this is a defense that gave up a lot of yards last year. The success rates were solid, but they gave up a lot of yards. That I think will be better this year in a new system. I know they lost a decent amount of players, but I think bringing guys in like that is good.
Cool. So, and also in the secondary, they brought in like 9 transfers as well, like you said. So, all right. I like Charlotte, but this is another one where I don't know if we could do the win totals yet, but we'll check it out. I'm leaning towards over 3.5 because I think the team is significantly better. But I'm saying that having not looked at the schedule. So,
non-conferences doesn't do them any favors.
Doesn't do them any favors.
They get
so
they get one, and they're going to be 1-4. They're 1-3 probably.
Holy shit! The schedule sucks.
Yeah, it's they are going. There's a couple of games that they're going to have to win. They're going to have to upset Navy on the road. That'll probably be a tough.
They got to beat Rice.
They have to beat Rice. They're going to beat Gardner-Webb, Rice, Navy, and then they got to sneak one of those games at the end. Tulane. They're not beating South Florida. FAU maybe. They're going to have to upset. Their schedule is very difficult. Probably I would assume the toughest schedule in this conference.
Hold on. Something I want to say though. Their over 3.5 wins is juiced to -133, which means the odds makers are leaning towards Charlotte grabbing that 4th win. And looking at their schedule and seeing this line kind of at least confirms what we're thinking, that this team is going to be improved. Because how can you set this line 3.5 juice to the over looking at that schedule unless you think Charlotte's going to be greatly improved?
Yeah. I think the quarterback they brought in, I know he didn't play much. He was highly recruited, and I trust a guy who's been in football for like 30 years, their coach. So their offense is going to be very old school, but I think he fits it perfectly because it's kind of a mix of being an old school offense, but he can also scramble and run a little bit. So that's why I think they're going to be a very fun team to watch. But they're going to have to pull an upset. That's
Charlotte plus 9.5 week 1 home against James Madison right now. Dylan Morris learning a new system. First game on the road.
That'd be a tight one. I don't know if they win
9.5.
I'd probably take the 9.5. I don't know if Charlotte's winning that game though.
Oh, I don't know. Who the fuck cares, man? Just
one. Well, I mean, for the win total, I
started talking about the week 1 line.
The spread, yeah, I'd probably take Charlotte. I think that'll be like a 3-point game.
Yeah, so Charlotte plus 9.5. I like that. So as far as the wins, I guess I would lean towards the over slightly, but I'm not betting it with the juice. So for this video, Charlotte over 3.5 wins. But I'm not betting it. I do think that Charlotte plus 9.5 in week 1 is worth a look. Next up. Yeah, I just said over. I just said it. Oh, yeah. Andy, I guess the people care about your pick.
Yeah, I would say over. I would also say over, but I don't expect it.
Yeah. Well, remember, we're going to edit this for the upload. This is only like partially for the live stream. So, all right, cool. So next team. ECU. Another interesting one. Going through these teams last night and this morning was very I was like, wow, these teams are actually cooler than I thought. All right, so ECU. ECU's offense. Oh, sorry, excuse me. I've been talking for a long time. ECU's offense last year. Holy shit. Might have been the worst thing ever. You know what? Before let Mike Houston back for his 6th season, I would have to say, coming off the worst year, 2-10, that this is a hot seat guy, right?
Yeah, they gotta win. They gotta win this year. They have to win more than 5. They have to make a bowl, or he's done.
Yeah, it's crazy how we this is our 3rd conference, and this is really only, I'd say, the 2nd coach that I would consider on the hot seat.
Oh yeah, a lot of them.
Him and Sonny Cumbie, right?
Yeah, a lot of them are in the bigger conferences. Let's just say that.
Right. Well, in the bigger conferences, there's also higher expectations.
Shorter leaches, I would say.
Shorter leashes for sure. So this is definitely a hot seat guy, Mike Houston. His 6th season with the program. They went 2-10 last year. Donnie Kirkpatrick stepped down as the offensive coordinator. He was stepped down. He was with who stepped in? I didn't write down the new guy's name. He was with Ole Miss. I wrote down Ole Miss.
I didn't get his name. I don't have, but I know
it's John.
They much faster pace this year. That's one thing that I saw, that they're going to run a much faster pace, which is going to mean which also means that the defense, anybody returning on defense, is also going to be worked even harder than last year. A lot like Texas Tech, I think it is, that runs it like that. So yeah, that's something I noted on this team. I have it highlighted that this team's going to probably be completely different on both sides because of that.
Yeah, and his name is John David Baker. He was with Ole Miss as an assistant in the last few years. So they brought in an offensive guy from Ole Miss to be the OC. The quarterback play last year was abysmal. They really struggled to replace Ehlers from 2022. They just couldn't replace that guy last year. And I mean, understandably so. He was the man there. I loved Ehlers. I loved betting on ECU with it when Ehlers was there. They had two guys, both Flynn and Garcia. They're both gone. They did bring in two quarterbacks through the portal, so you would think they have to be improved there from the simple fact that they were so bad at quarterback last year that there's no way they can get worse than that. I guess that guy, Jake Garcia, is going to start.
They brought in another Garcia. Yeah, he's going to be the starter. He's from Missouri. He didn't play much, obviously, because they have. No,
but he has experience from Miami.
Yeah, he's pretty good. I thought it was a pretty good pickup for them. A team that needed to pretty much upgrade at every offensive position. I thought they did pretty decently in the portal for that.
Yeah. So yeah, it looks like that kid Jake Garcia is going to be the starter, and he has like 800 passing yards in Miami the year before that, so he does have some experience. This has to be a quarterback upgrade. As far as the running backs, their two leading rushers are back. Not really sure about the ECU running backs. Do you have any notes on that?
No, my big note for this team was their offensive line. It's back, and they needed it to be back. I mean, like you said, we'll see with the running. A quarterback who has experience, like you said, just protect him. I think he'll be fine if he's protected, and I think bringing in 4 starters, and that is considered the number one strength of this team now. So.
Yeah, the offensive line, and it has to be better because their blocking numbers last year, I think Proppy just put them on the screen a second ago. Their blocking numbers last year were so bad. So bringing back 4 starters on the offensive line is huge. They have to be better there. And then on the defense, I mean, this defense was pretty good last year, ECU. They got 6 of their top 8 defensive linemen back. They lost a couple linebackers, but they're still solid. Three returning starters in the secondary. So, I mean, the ECU defense did lose a few pieces, but as a whole, it's a solid defense last year, and I expect it to be a pretty solid defense again. So, as long as they're able to take some sort of step forward offensively, because the offense was at such a rock bottom level, ECU's going to have to be better this year. I just 6.5 wins is great.
Yeah, on defense, they brought in multiple Power 4 transfers. A kid from UNC, a kid from Louisville, and a kid from Oregon State, I think it is. I wrote OSU, but that has to be Oregon State. So yeah, they brought in legit transfers for a unit that was already pretty good. So I like their defense too. Their offense, I think it'll be slightly improved. I think it'll be better. I mean, anything from what they were last year is improved, I guess, but. So yeah, I think overall this team's pretty improved, but I need to look at the schedule. So.
The schedule's on the easy side. They start off with Norfolk State. I think at Old Dominion could be a problem, though. I think Old Dominion's defense should be improved. I
don't love the next 2 games. I really don't like those.
2 losses. Appalachian State, Liberty. Those are losses. UTSA I haven't looked at yet. Usually you would think that's probably a loss.
I don't think they're winning that one. I guess Charlotte, who we just went to, is a close one. Army, Temple. That's a good 3 games there where that should decide everything. Yeah, they're going to need to really hammer. They can't lose any of those games, but they also have to win 3 of the next ones. I mean, they're going to have to pull an upset for this team. I would lean under because they have to pull an upset in order for them to hit their over. They'd have to beat either App State or Liberty, which is obviously unlikely.
Under for me too, but it's. I do think ECU will be better this year. It's they have an easy
anything's
schedule.
Better than what was last year.
Yeah, 2-10, but I'm not taking this one, and certainly not placing a bet in this conference until I've gotten through all the teams. That's for sure. So let's move on to the next one.
Oh, Navy.
All right, Navy. Head coach Brian Newberry back for his 2nd season. They fired their OC. Grant Chestnut, he's now an analyst with Western Kentucky. So their OC has been removed. They bring in Drew Cronick, who's been the head coach at Mercer for 4 years, FCS program. They got 14 returning starters, 7 on offense, 7 on defense. Offensively, it's terrible last year. In fact, this was, if you go by beta rankings, 130th in effective rush, 133rd in effective pass. So rushing, this is a bottom 5 rushing attack. And I'm not talking about bottom 5, and you might think like, oh, MLB, like 26 through 30. No, bottom 5 is in 129 to 133. And they were dead last in effective pass, which probably wasn't shock any of you. Lavatai is gone, the quarterback. I don't even think we really know who the starting quarterback's going to be.
No, he hasn't played much. Blake Horvath is
it going to be Horvath?
He's considered the guy, but yeah, we could see anybody. I mean, with a team that runs the option like this, it could be literally anybody they could put it. As long as the guy has feet, can run.
Look at Blake Horvath's numbers when pressured. Again, this doesn't mean anything. This is
I will say that their O-line, they're bringing back a couple of starters. They're losing their best O-lineman, but they are considered more experienced. But obviously, all that's important is that they can run block, and they should be pretty decent at that, which is the number one thing for them.
Now, you might be looking at these numbers, Horvath when pressured, and be like, "Oh, this kid, who is this? Lamar Jackson? Scared. Take these off." He has 12 career pass attempts, or he had 12 pass attempts last season. So these numbers mean nothing. I just thought it was funny. These numbers mean
that had
nothing.
To be like just a touchdown he threw.
Yeah, like
he just had to be under pressure just to a touchdown.
Like an 89-yard touchdown or something. He got pressured once. So yeah, Horvath, just an absolute monster when pressured. They bring back their top 7 running backs. And when I say 7, I'm not exaggerating. 7 different running backs took carries for Navy last year, and they bring back every single one of them. So they bring back their top 7 running backs. They did lose their wide receiver 1, but number 2 and 3 are back. So, I mean,
doesn't really matter anyway.
Doesn't matter. I mean, they lost their wide receiver 1. They lost a few offensive linemen, but they also bring back some experience. So really nothing there. And same with the defense. I mean, they lost a couple pieces, but they bring back a couple of I really don't have anything to say about the Navy defense. It was pretty mediocre across the board. It should be exactly the same.
Whole secondary's back. That's definitely good. There's
cool.
A couple quarterbacks in this conference. I mean, obviously it's not going to help in some of their other games because they have to play some teams that only run the option, but it'll help against quarterbacks in this conference like the Memphis guys and something like that. So they're an experienced secondary is good. Linebackers are a little younger. They're hoping those guys just take leaps that, we haven't seen before. So hopefully they don't go too badly against the run, but against the pass, they should be better.
Next up. I mean, we can look at Nate.
Oh, you want to go through the schedule? That's right.
Yeah.
Bucknell. I know it's they've got a couple tough ones on here, I believe.
They could start off 2-0.
Should start off 2-0, yeah.
I haven't looked at Memphis yet.
Well, Memphis is going to kick the shit out of them.
At UAB, I'll lay 20.
Okay. Air Force is winnable, but it'll probably be a loss. It's winnable.
Charlotte loss.
Yeah, Notre Dame's going to kill them.
Notre Dame.
Rice is probably a loss. South Florida's a loss. I'm still up in the air on Tulane. I don't really know how I feel about them.
This is under, right? Well, it's minus 160. Yeah.
Yeah, this is under.
Yeah,
that Army-Navy game will probably be more for Army than for Navy. That game. But I think the Navy will win that game.
Under.
One more team.
Next up, one more to go.
You seem to like this UAB team.
Yeah, hell yeah, I like them. What's not to like?
I think
look, guys. You heard it here. You heard it here first. I'm a Dragon guy this year. Dragons. I like this team. Trent Dilfer back for his second season, just 4-8 last year. But holy shit, could they score points? They got Zeno back at quarterback, and why wouldn't you want him back? I mean, he was slinging the ball last year, 155.6 passer rating on the season, over 3,100 yards. Second year, Dilfer's offense, he should be even better. Both coordinators are back, same coaching staff for Trent Dilfer. They did lose their leading rusher in Jermaine Brown, but RB2 and RB3 are both back. I'm a little concerned that they lost their main receiver. He actually got drafted in the 6th round by the Cardinals. His name is Palmer. He's on the Arizona Cardinals now. But they do bring back a couple of wide receivers, and they also bring back their tight end. The entire offensive line is back, Andy. The entire line. The entire offensive line is back. Zeno should have plenty of time to carve up defenses. And then when we get to the defense, this is because obviously I think we all expected with Trent Dilfer back, same OC, same quarterback. We all expect UAB to score a lot of points again. But then you get to the defense, and if you didn't follow UAB football last year, the defense was the Achilles heel, to say the least. I mean, they could score, they just couldn't make stops. this defense brought in some pieces. They brought in a kid named Ladarius Cox from Indiana on the defensive line. They also brought in an edge rusher from Georgia Tech. They did lose a couple pieces, but I mean, they added a few power 4 pieces to this defensive line. It could only be better. The same at linebacker. They lost a couple pieces, but they added transfers. This kid named O.C. Brothers from Purdue. He actually saw the field at Purdue too. So this dude was seeing snaps in the Big Ten. You know how the defense is in the Big Ten. So this bringing a linebacker from Purdue. They also added a kid from Alabama State, Adrian Maddox. I don't know much about Alabama State, but he won some award there. Like, he was really good. This kid.
That's a guy that I'm not. That's the guy on there that's kind of the biggest question mark, because again, I've said it over and over again. FCS guys, I'm very nervous about if they can translate what they were in the FCS at the FBS level. But I thought their defensive transfers were great. 5 of their top 6 additions were on defense, like you've said, so that's great for them. This team kind of switched for me. Like, I think the offense will be good. Little more curious about the offense. I think the defense is going to take a huge improvement. I think it kind of
what do you?
I think the offense will be good, but there's still questions to me. I still don't know how great Trent Dilfer is as a coach. Okay, defensively, I thought they brought in so much talent. I understand it was his first year, but he got outcoached a lot last year. This year, he has a good DC. They did a great job recruiting on defense. Needs to continue it on offense. That's all I'm saying. I think this team flipped to me. I think their defense will be very, very good.
Listen to this, Andy. UAB's live in week 3. Go look at the schedule. UAB's live in week 3.
Oh yeah, you know how I feel about that crap team.
I know
that team's awful.
Andy's a Georgia fan, so there's a few teams.
No, that's not why.
Arkansas
is a terrible football team.
You are
no talent.
You are discriminate. You discriminate against Sam Pittman.
They're talentless in the coaching staff, on the field. They're talentless in that whole program.
So what we're talking about here is week 3. They go at Arkansas. Andy, a Georgia fan. He does not like Sam Pittman. I might have been joking a bit about them being live in week 3, but I don't think that's a crazy statement. Like, I don't think
nobody would be shocked.
Yeah, nobody.
I don't think anybody would be shocked.
But in all seriousness, 2-0, right? You agree?
Yeah, 2-0.
Let's obviously at Arkansas. Let's say loss. Home Navy win. I haven't looked at Tulane.
Tulane will be I think still haven't decided how I fully feel on them, but I think that this is probably a game that's very tight at the end, so it's a toss up for me.
Let's have a question mark. At Army win. Out South Florida, you're going to say loss. You'd love that team. That game. Tulsa, win, right?
Yeah, it's a win. UConn's a win. They're losing to Memphis.
Rice win.
Give them Rice. I think they beat Charlotte.
1, 2,
it's a 7-8
3,
win team.
4, 5, 6, 7. I could see him winning 8. Yeah. Over me up.
Right over.
Dragons. I need to order some UAB merch. I'm ordering merch right after the show. I'm a Dragon guy this year. I might bet him 12 straight. That's a joke, but I honestly like this team. I think they're going to be a really electric offense.
I wonder if we can get a line for that Arkansas game. I might take the money line now.
You know what I might do? And all jokes aside, I'm just playing around. Like, I don't think UAB's winning the national. Like, I'm just playing around. But in all seriousness, some sports books, and you know what? Why don't I look it up now while they offer alt win totals. Maybe get like a UAB alt over 7.5 because I think they'll win 8. And get a nice payout there. And of course, my odds comparison tool isn't loading. Oh, here we go. Okay. All right. Futures. Sorry, guys. It's being a little slow. UAB. Wins. Regular season wins. Here we go. Very slow today when I have 800 people watching. Perfect timing. Sorry. I can't get this thing to load. I don't know what's going on. I'm clicking on regular season wins and nothing's happening. All right, whatever. I like UAB's over, so you can give me the All right, everyone, thanks for watching. Let's look at the MLB schedule tomorrow to see what time we want to do this. There's only a few.
I thought it was split. But maybe that's Thursday.
No, there's only 5 day games. Do we want to do a whole day show?
And one of them's a doubleheader.
Yeah, so we'll just same time tomorrow. 4 p.m. Eastern time. What's tomorrow's NFL team, AJ? Colts tomorrow. So tomorrow's Colts, and we're doing the rest of the American Conference. So same time tomorrow. Thanks everyone for watching as always. Is it raining out, Andy? Are you good to drive here?
I don't know. I haven't looked upstairs. I have no idea.
All right, cool. Well, we got the mixer, so we're going to try to hook that up, and so you could broadcast the show from here tomorrow.
Okay. I'll let you know if it's too bad. I won't drive up, but I'll let you